This episode is brought to you by Groove Washer, the best record cleaners and protective sleeves for your vinyl collection. Ask for the Groove Washer from your local shop or go to groovewasher.com. Discount code VinylGuide10. And now, on with the show.
Well, hello everyone, it's Nate. Welcome to episode 393 of the Vinyl Guide, the podcast for record collectors and music nerds. And today we are featuring a conversation with Jay Mascis, who you likely know from Dinosaur Jr., Heavy Blanket, Witch, and several other projects. Those of you very familiar with Jay's work and history will know that this conversation is a very big deal. Jay does not do that many interviews. He's a quiet dude who tends to keep to himself while being very active and prolific as a musician, and he tends to let the music do the talking on his behalf. But he's also very much a record collector. Jay has been chasing elusive vinyl since his youth, and today he's going to talk all about his record collection, pursuing rare singles around the world, the rare records of his career, and lots more. Plus, he shares background stories of things like the name change from Dinosaur to Dinosaur Jr., getting master tapes back from early labels like SST Records, the early punk scene in Amherst. He talks about making the highly collectible Deep Wound EP as a teenager, and a whole lot more. Plus, I gotta let you know, there is an extended version of this interview available only to show patrons at patreon.com/vinylguide. More conversation, more stories, including details of his time with G.G. Allin. Jay shares some stories which are very insane and simultaneously hilarious and disturbing. That story with G.G. Allin in particular, not for the faint of heart. However, you can enjoy this extended interview in all its glory at patreon.com/vinylguide. That's where you go to help support this podcast, keep it going. All the episodes are commercial free and always super high resolution up there. That's patreon.com/vinylguide. Please consider becoming a sponsor, and thanks in advance. Also, I need to let you know about Jay's latest project, Heavy Blanket. The album, Moon Is, it's out there on all the streaming services right now. You can go and listen to it anytime, but it's available on vinyl from outerbatteryrecords.com. And can I please go on the record to say that Outer Battery is a fantastic record label. Up there right now at outerbatteryrecords.com, not only the Heavy Blanket Moon Is vinyl, but also Faith, live at CBGB's, a 7-inch EP from Fake Names. That's a Brian Baker and Brendan Canty's latest project. A beautiful blue vinyl pressing of the new Elder album in a Passage. Off, live at the 930 Club. Dinosaur Jr. Bug, live at the 930 Club, all on vinyl, and lots more. Highly recommend taking a few moments to go to outerbatteryrecords.com and grab some of these records before they sell out. They always do. If you look at the history of the Outer Battery label, pretty much everything they do is considered top-notch, and the vinyl gets soaked up by music lovers and gets hard to find afterwards. So go there now, outerbatteryrecords.com, and treat yourself to Jay's latest project, Heavy Blanket, on vinyl, and lots more. And to those of you new to the Vinyl Guide podcast, we have nearly 400 other episodes available, discussions on record collections and rare recordings, including episode 391 with Kid Congo Powers of the Cramps, the Gun Club, and more. That's episode 391 of the Vinyl Guide. Perry Farrell and Eric Avery of Jane's Addiction, episode 387 of the Vinyl Guide. Steve Turner of Mudhoney, episode 384. Chris Shiflett of Foo Fighters and No Use for a Name, episode 382. Jerry A. Lang of Poison Idea, episode 372. Nick Oliveri of Caius, Stoner, Mondo Generator, and Queens of the Stone Age, episode 360, and lots more. Subscribe to the Vinyl Guide for free in your podcast app. Scroll, download, listen, and enjoy. And with that, let's start our chat with Mr. Jay Mascis, all about his history of making and collecting vinyl records. Hello, Mr. Mascis.
Hello, can you see me? Or?
I can't see you. I can hear you. Ah, there you are. How are you, Jay?
All right.
Very good. I really appreciate you making the time to do the show today. Our show deals a lot with record collecting, which I understand is something that's close to your heart. Is that fair?
Right.
Can you describe your record collection?
Um, hmm, I don't know. Let's see, you can see it. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see the,
Oh, yeah, it looks like quite the rack there.
so I don't know.
It's quite extensive. Are you mainly 7-inch or 12-inch records? What do you tend to gravitate towards?
Mainly 12 inch. I do have a lot of 7 inches though, too.
Hmm. Okay. And in terms of the genres, I suppose it's very heavy into punk. What else is within those racks?
Punk, rock, a little folk, not much jazz, a little bit of rap, a little bit of soul, I guess.
Do you still have the records of your youth?
Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah. I did sell a bunch when I was into punk, thinking I'd never listen to them again, but then I bought them back mostly.
Yeah. So when you were young, finding punk records was pretty important, it sounds like.
Yeah.
What were some of the records that were very formative to you?
Um, let's see. Well, I remember my first used record was Derek and the Dominoes, Layla. I liked that one. That's when yeah, my foray into used records. I'd never thought about that before. And then, I remember I had this Zombies compilation I really liked,
Hmm.
which had it was Time of the Zombies, and later I found out one of the albums is just Odyssey and Oracle. It's a double album, and the other album is like greatest hits of before that. I remember liking that a lot. Had a 15 Big Ones from the Beach Boys. That's an early memory of a record I liked.
Mm-hmm. Was this when you were single digits old?
Yeah, maybe 9 or something. Yeah.
Okay. Did you have a lot of music in your house?
Yeah. I had, 2 older sisters and an older brother. My parents didn't have much music, but my brother mostly.
Ah, so you're the youngest of 4. Lots of records being passed down and lots of modern music at the time in the house.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest of 4 as well. And for my birthdays and Christmas, I used to get quote unquote presents that my brothers and sisters wanted. So
Right.
so the record was then in the house for them to enjoy as well.
That's smart.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was being used from an early age. So what music did you bring into the house that was your own, not necessarily influenced from your siblings?
Well, I guess the punk stuff was definitely a big line. Like my brother didn't listen to that or anything, but of all rock stuff before that, I'm not quite sure
Mm-hmm.
if it was. I mean, it felt like I was getting into my own stuff.
What was the first punk record you can recall bringing into the house?
It must have been the Ramones, if you call that punk. I don't know. And then after that, Sex Pistols, I guess.
Okay. And the reaction of your siblings was supportive, or it sounds like your brother didn't like it that much.
He was already kind of gone. There's a big gap. He's like 7 years older, so he was already out of the house. I just assumed he wouldn't like it. I didn't know.
So you discovered the remote. How do you discover punk rock?
Mostly this guy in school who became the singer of my band, Deep Wound. He was like the town punk guy. So he kind of schooled me on punk stuff.
Were there many punks in Amherst?
No, just him, pretty much.
And then by proxy, you.
Yeah, then I became. There could have been some older, like I would call them more new wavers, though, but
Hmm.
not really.
And when you discovered punk, were you already playing drums? Were you already on an instrument?
Yeah, I was playing drums already.
Okay. Do you recall the punk song or record that flicked the switch on inside you that made you want to play that music?
I don't know. It was all of it, kind of. I remember really liking the Eater album,
Mm.
like our record store in town. The guy would go to England and get all these records, and so we'd have some weird, he'd have 100 copies of the Eater album, a cutout, and
Is that
so
the
you
one
just
with the ant
buy
on
it.
it?
Yeah. So I would just buy any punk record. So, and that one I liked, because they were the youngest punk band. I guess I related to that. I was playing drums and I was 14, and then the drummer was 14 when they made the record or something. So,
Oh, okay.
to that, I guess.
So you were able to relate very quickly, see yourself in that band, I guess.
Yeah.
And in terms of playing that speed of music and that style of music, were you kind of already there, or did punk really push you to get faster and get tighter?
Yeah, I could play it already, but it definitely once, we got in a hardcore band, we just wanted to play faster and faster. So
Mm-hmm.
practiced a lot to try to get faster and faster. Yeah.
Mm. And so you discover some of these records. Eater, I guess they're out of the UK. They
Yeah.
also have, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, they had some covers of, I want to say Lou Reed or Velvet Underground on that record.
Yeah.
Was was that music you were already familiar with, or did you get
Yeah.
familiar with it?
I
Okay.
was already into Velvet Underground from the Rolling Stone record guide, because I tried to collect like the 5-star albums, and the Live 69 was a 5-star Rolling Stone album. So I got that when I was pretty young. And I like,
And then you hear this different version of it from Eater.
yeah. And also they did Alice Cooper's 18, but then they said 15. So that I like.
So at this time, this was the band you were in. Deep, was this Deep Wound already, or was this a different band?
Yeah, it was a Deep Wound we formed. Yeah.
Okay. And as I understand it, Deep Wounds made a record while you were still in high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your recollections? The story of making that record.
Well, we made a demo tape in the basement of my house, and I remember we borrowed some equipment from the boys club guy to make that. It was just on cassette, but it sounded pretty cool. And then when we made the 7-inch, we went to the studio where it was recording all the hardcore stuff in Boston. And we were even faster by then. So maybe by the time we did the record, we were a little maybe too fast. It seemed like the songs were at a better pace on the demo before. We were just obsessed with getting it faster and faster. So, but yeah, I just remember telling the guy to keep turning up the drums, and him getting annoyed with me.
Do you remember? I guess you guys all kind of pitched your money in together to get these pressed. I would assume, or was there one person that was kind of paying for the whole thing?
I think this girl that we knew paid for most of it, and then I paid for some of it.
Do you recall how many of those were made?
1,000.
1,000. Okay. In each one of those, I think there's a lyric sheet.
Yeah.
Was that a DIY thing? The band sitting around folding and putting the
Yeah.
records together?
Yeah, I think so, as far as I remember. We had a label also, just like the two guys who own the studio in Boston. But I do think we folded the lyric sheets and stuff.
The single, it's got 10 songs on it. So, yeah, you must have been playing very fast to
Yeah.
to fit 10 songs on a 45.
Yeah.
It's like a mini album. Radio Beat Records, that's it. Radio Beat
Yeah.
Records.
Yeah, that was the name of the studio as well.
How did you guys sell those? Was it at shows? Did you take them to shops? How did you, once you got the 1,000, how did they kind of get out in the public?
I think the label just gave them to a distributor. There was a lot of distributors back then. I don't know if they gave it to more than one.
Each member kept 10 or 20 of them and the rest just kind of went away?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't suppose you've kept in touch with how collectible that particular record is these days, have you?
Not real recently, but at some points, yeah.
Yeah. These days, each one of those records, depending on condition, of course, is somewhere between, it's over $500.
Yeah.
So it's pretty desirable out there. It's what are your thoughts about some of these singles? I mean, Deep Wound, or maybe even the ones that you collected or still collect, starting to go for some large amounts of money.
I like it if I still have them, but if it's one that I missed, then I get angry about it.
What's an example of a record that you had and maybe sold and is now a car payment or two?
I remember buying the first Nirvana single when it came out and then going to a party on Staten Island and leaving it at the party somewhere.
Oh, that was the Sub Pop Love Buzz.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Maybe worth the trip, going back to that house, see if it's still there.
I wouldn't even remember where it was. Staten Island. I don't know much.
Did you spend a lot of time in record stores as a kid?
Yep.
What do you recall about like some of the records that you would take home? What were the ones that you were seeking out as a young man?
Just whatever the latest hardcore record or punk record that came out, or then the ones that got away that you try to find later that you didn't get when they first came out. So just whatever was, yeah. And collecting different things. Like I had a list of the 100 best punk songs from Sounds, had a magazine, Punk's Not Dead, with Waddy on the cover, that had a list of the 100 best punk songs. So I tried to collect all of those.
How far did you get?
I think I got them all. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's quite a challenge, especially in pre-internet days. You didn't even know what some of them probably looked like.
Oh yeah, I didn't know, but from traveling around and later being on tour, I'd find a lot of them.
Okay.
Just this guy at the store also would go to England to record convention, so you could give him a list of stuff to look for, and he'd come back with a lot of stuff.
Do you remember some of the records you got that guy brought back from UK?
Yeah, like Eater, Outside View. I remember getting that, and some Throbbing Gristles stuff, and I'm not sure, stuff like that I just give him a list of stuff to get. He pretty much seemed to be able to find it all at these record conventions in England.
So you had this list, Sounds magazine. You said 100 punk singles, and I'm guessing many of them, maybe most of them, you hadn't even heard. You were just curious as to what they sounded like based on this list.
Yeah, I just wanted to get them.
Mm-hmm.
Like Menace, GLC. I had never heard of that.
Do you still have most of those records?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Do you still play your records pretty regularly?
Yeah, sometimes. I definitely don't like listening to stuff on Spotify and stuff. I find it too overwhelming, all the choices you get. And just the sound of it is not that satisfying. I still prefer, listening to records. I don't need to have music playing 24 hours a day.
Do you consider yourself a record collector? Is that something that you would self-identify as?
Yeah, but I'm not like that obsessed with like the pressings and that kind of thing. Just having the music more.
Right.
So I don't, it's not exactly, I have a little bit of a collector mentality, but not. It's mostly just wanting to have the music on vinyl somewhere.
Hmm.
Like if I like a song, I'd like to have it on vinyl somewhere.
So whether it's a first or second or third pressing really doesn't matter. Can you tell the difference? Like if you found a Negative Approach record, do you kind of have it in your brain to where you could instinctively or quickly understand if that's a first or second or pressing or whatever?
By looking at it?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if it's records like that that I've already bought when they came out or something, I could. So I've looked at it a lot, and so I could tell probably just from looking at another one what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I had a weird experience with some label in England that was reissuing stuff. I bought a Sabbath Sabotage album, and then I also bought a Discharge singles comp on the same label, and I had the same reaction to both. Like when I played it, I realized like my body didn't recognize this music. I was hearing it, and it was, but my body wasn't responding to it. Like it knew it so well, but it didn't recognize it. Like, and so the weirdest feeling. Like I'm like, so I concluded they must have just pressed the records from a CD or something, and it just cut out a lot of the frequencies that your body is used to hearing or used to being hit with. But that's a weird feeling when you just hear like, Black Sabbath, and that you can tell it's the right song, but your body is saying, I don't know what this is. It's a really weird feeling.
I think I know what you mean. When I had records that I absolutely loved in my teenage years, and when they came out on CD, I bought them on CD, and I wasn't excited about them, and I concluded that maybe I just outgrown the music, or maybe it was important to me in my youth and it wasn't now. And years went by, and then I rebought them on vinyl, original kind of pressings similar to the ones I had as a teenager, and the magic was there, the energy was in there.
Yeah, it's odd, but you realize there's just you get all Neil Young about it. There's just not, as it's 5% of the sound or whatever is coming through. It's sound. I guess your body, you hear sound not only with your ears, it's just how it affects your whole body.
So you completed your 100 punk singles list. What are the records in your collection that you are most proud of, the precious ones to you?
We'll be back after these messages.
Hey everyone, I'm here to talk to you about Seems Easy record sleeve repair strips. Ever find a record in a used bin where the vinyl is gorgeous, but the sleeve has this ugly split and is even falling completely apart? Well, that's okay. Grab it anyway, because with Seems Easy record sleeve repair strips, you can fix that right up. Seems Easy record repair strips repair seam splits from the inside, so it doesn't affect the appearance of a record sleeve, but it does make it functional again. With Seems Easy, records can now slide in and out like new. Turn a $5 record into a $25 functioning collectible. Just ask your local record shop for Seems Easy strips, and if they're not in stock, go to seamseasy.com. That's Seems Easy with 2 Z's. Seems Easy record sleeve repair strips. Seems easy because it is. Oh, and hey, record nerds, don't forget to clean your records with the very best and safest record cleaner, the Groove Washer. Make your records look and sound their very best and store them with confidence using the new Groove Washer Groove Guard record sleeves. You gotta try this out. It makes a huge difference to the quality of your vinyl experience. Ask for the Groove Washer by name at your local record store and accept no substitutes. Or head over to groovewasher.com and use discount code VINYLGUIDE10.
All hail the Groove Washer.
That's groovewasher.com, discount code VINYLGUIDE10.
Now we return to the program, already in progress.
No limits.
So you completed your 100 punk singles list. What are the records in your collection that you are most proud of, the precious ones to you?
Well, like you said, Negative Approach. Yeah, that record I really like. And I still have the t-shirt from, the concert, when I was 15 of Negative Approach, and it was the Process of Elimination tour, Negative Approach, Meatmen, Necros. And then there were some Boston bands played too, Gangrene or something. But yeah, I remember talking to this girl she was going on about John Prine, and she saw this gig and he was playing some song and made her cry, and I was going, oh yeah, I had that experience with Negative Approach. I mean, it's not I hear them play the song when they reunited, not that she really could relate to that, but I've had a few instances of that. Yeah, when you hear, like, I saw a magazine reunion show and they played a song and it really stirred some emotion in me.
Do you find yourself getting emotional at music quite a bit?
I don't know, but I just remember those two instances, Negative Approach and magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the music, I guess, you normally equate with being brought to tears from.
Yeah, I was recently very moved by this new synth project, Sound Cipher. It's a project with Skerrick and Tim from Tim Alexander or Primus. And it's very, I want to say kind of krautrocky, a lot of electronic approach in this music. And I'd never really been moved by synthesizers the way that I was with this music. Really
Right.
Surprised me. But yeah, if sometimes you put on a record like Poison Idea, Pick Your King, and just the intro of the drums just stirs something in me that, I don't know, is primal and has been there for decades. And yeah, so those, and
I remember having the second pressing of that and then finding the first pressing. And then now I have both. So that was exciting. And when you have the second pressing and you're pissed off because everyone else has the first pressing. And then at some store, it was just, I finally found it and it wasn't even expensive or anything.
well, interesting with that record, the second pressing is the first pressing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I talked to Jerry about this on the show. The second pressing, what we commonly know as the second pressing, is the black one with the blue sleeve.
Oh,
That black record was actually pressed first because the pressing company screwed up. Instead of doing the clear vinyl like they wanted, they pressed the black. So they then made them redo it. They sold the clear one as the first pressing, but the black one sat in the record pressing closets or whatever like that. And then they purchased those cheap for the second pressing. So,
oh, well, that's cool. I have both anyway. So I'm happy.
those are the sort of record nerd facts that fill up my brain. So I don't know what else to do with that information but to share it.
No, I like that. It's cool. As long as I'm not left out on it, I don't mind. Since I have both, I like the story.
Yeah. Now, when you find records out in the wild, I mean, you still go to record shops, I assume.
Not too much, but a little bit.
Are you looking for things like, if you find a single, the lyric sheet and the things that were included in it? Is that important to you?
No, it's a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
I would get annoyed if it didn't have the sleeve or something, but all the other stuff I'd like to have, but I'd still get the record anyway, probably.
What's the most you've ever paid for a record?
The most I paid, which is surprising, is £50, I think, which was more that it was more like almost $100 probably when I did it. It was the first Wipers single I got in England somewhere.
Oh, wow. You found it in England.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
So yeah, I haven't paid a lot for records. I'm not into, I don't know. I haven't gotten into that yet, paying $300 for an album or Easter everywhere or something.
Hmm.
Though I would like to have it, I just wouldn't. I would just kind of balk at the cost, some of them. And then maybe last year I spent $70 on the first Wipers album in Germany, which I didn't have.
Really? On that original pressing, the first one?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a great deal. Is this real? Like an original copy of that?
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. I'd love to. I've got represses that I'll have to be happy with. But yeah, that's a great. I love the Wipers.
Yeah.
So, as you were young, seeing different hardcore shows, did you get a chance to see the Wipers?
Yeah. I guess it was maybe their last show, someone said once. I'm not sure, but I think it was probably the last show around here in the East Coast. It was CMJ or something they were playing. And I remember him complaining a lot about he had to use a Marshall and these heavy metal amps, but it was cool to see him play.
Have you ever spent time with Greg?
I've talked to him a little bit once. Yeah, that's about it. When he came to when I was playing with Mike Watt, we played in Tempe and he showed up and I hung out with him for a little bit.
Was that with the Asheton brothers?
No, it was like right before that.
Mm.
Yeah, right before we started playing with Ron and then Ron and Scott.
Now, when Dinosaur went to SST, what memories do you have of being on SST? Did you hang out with the crew at all? The Naomi Peterson or Mugger or Spot? Were those guys around?
Yeah, not Spot, but the others. Spot I met later when he was a bouncer in Austin. So we'd go to South by Southwest all the time. Spot would always be there. He's worked at some club, and maybe Watt introduced me to Spot too back then. But yeah, I mean, SST was our big goal. That was, other bands, I guess, dream of being on a major label, but we dreamed of being on SST. So it was pretty awesome when we got to be on SST.
How did that overage happen? Did Greg or Joe Carducci reach out and have dialogue with the band? How did that engagement happen?
Yeah, through Greg. I think Sonic Youth had passed our tape on to him, and they had been signed to SST. So they got him our tape, and then he liked it and called me.
At what point did you come to know that there was a challenge with the band name?
Oh, yeah, we got a letter from the Fish, Barry Melton, from his office on Haight Street, just saying a cease and desist kind of letter. Okay. So I had heard about him from this hippie at the record store when we formed. He's like, there's this other band, the Dinosaurs. But I didn't think twice about it after that. And then once in a while, some old biker guys would come and be like, You guys aren't the dinosaurs. Happened a couple times. Yeah, then they seemed satisfied with the junior thing, or Barry Melton did. I met Barry Melton's son this year, which was very wild.
Oh, wow. How did that meeting come about?
He just came. He lives in Paris, and he came to the show. He's like, "When my dad dies, I'm going to give you back the name. You can have your name back." I'm like, "Oh, cool, thanks."
So, what was the conversation about? Just saying, just add junior to it. Who came up with that idea?
That was my idea. Because I guess because I'm a junior, I just already lived with it. So I thought, I don't know, just
Okay. Were there other names discussed, or
probably, though I can't remember.
the first label you were on, the first Dinosaur self-titled Homestead Records? Do you recall much about pressing numbers or anything like that? Is that something you recall?
No.
Okay.
How many they made? Somehow I have an idea they made 2,000, and it took them a long time to get through that many of the first pressing.
I looked up Homestead Records and doing a bit of research, and on Wikipedia it says the label, this is a quote, the label was known for not paying its artists and not spending any money on production.
Yeah. Well, what label did? I don't know.
With SST, have you retained any relationships from that period? Do you still have a relationship with Greg?
No. Yeah, it was hard to get the records back from him. He wouldn't pay us for a long time, and had to hire lawyers, and it's pretty annoying. We finally got our records back at some point. That was kind of the beginning of the reunion. When we got the records back, it was 2005. And
did you get the tapes back? Where are the multi tracks and the master tapes of various dinosaur related recordings?
I don't know. Yeah, we did get the tapes back, but not the first album. We had to master that from the album, which actually sounded pretty cool. I liked it better than playing the old tapes from SST. Something about pulling it off an album. It had a cool sound to it or something.
So you did get the tapes from SST, because I know there's some bands that they've got the rights back. It did take some wrangling to get the rights back, but the tapes are MIA.
No, I got the tapes and remastered them. But I thought it was interesting. I liked the sound of the album better for the first album.
Yeah.
Cooler sound out of the gate than the old tapes.
I understand years ago, like 20 years ago or so, you had a fire in the studio. Were there any tapes or important, I guess, documents or recordings that were lost?
I don't recall. I don't really, because I don't really care about tapes. I figure once they come out, I don't care about them anymore. So I can't really remember. I think there's some that are probably smoke damaged or something, but I don't know that I'd ever play them again anyway, 2-inch tapes of something.
I know there's a lot of those master tapes that were burned in that in the 2009 fire, and for a record collector, that original master tape gone seems to shift the focus for which records become, the definitive ones to get.
Yeah, I figure, old tapes are usually going to be in terrible shape anyway from, if you have to bake them and then you have one shot to play them. And I don't know what the point of a lot of it is. It's like, I've never heard something that sounds way better now that it's remixed, or I don't know, like Raw Power or something. It's like the Iggy remix. It's not like a big revelation or anything.
With Raw Power, that's rather unique because of the limitations of the tracks.
Yeah.
So, but I kind of like it when some of the recordings get revisited and remixed. Like Jack and Dino just did Soundgarden's Ultra Mega. Okay, they got the multi-track tapes, and when the band originally recorded that or mastered it, they didn't have a lot of time. It was a rush job. So now they have this updated look at the album, and it sounds great. I mean, the original one's there for the purists, but the new mix is quite interesting, and I like it. Is that something you would do with any material?
I mean, I wouldn't mind. Like I'd always, but then again, I don't want to mess with what like I'd like to remix Green Mind. I think I thought it was a kind of a weird mix, but then again, that's just what it is. So I don't know.
Keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So, the album Heavy Blanket, Moon Is. People listening aren't aware of it. Go to outerbatteryrecords.com or heavyblanket.bandcamp.com. Jay, you've been involved in Outer Battery for many years. I think you were probably their Outer Battery #1, if I recall. Is that right?
Yeah.
What a great label. I mean, they're one of the labels to where if they release something, I immediately pay attention. Off, Elder, Faith, and Fake Names, whatnot. There's lots of colored and swirl variations. Are you a colored vinyl guy? Do you like the occasional splatter pressing, or?
I do, yeah. I always liked colored vinyl. I had like Jay Giles, Bloodshot, red vinyl, and I think Road to Ruin I had yellow vinyl. Those were maybe my earlier colored vinyls I had.
Are you part of the decision on the different types of vinyl pressings, the colors and things like that they ask you?
Yeah. Usually my favorite these days, or I mean, for a while, has been like the some kind of clear with colored splatters in it. I like a lot.
Those are great just to watch spin as well.
Yeah.
Are there any holy grails that you're chasing? Something you'd love to add to your record collection?
Oh yeah, sure. It's just I don't want to pay what they're worth, but I'd like to have them, certainly. Like I'd like to have a Velvet Underground with the banana, or an Easter Everywhere first pressing, or all the Misfit singles.
Did you ever have the Misfit singles?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I have some that are like whatever was available when I was like 3 hits from hell, but not like the early ones.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, because being on the East Coast, I think they would have been around. I was born on the West Coast. I'm now in Sydney, so where there's never a Misfit record that made its way here, unless maybe half a dozen. But on the West Coast, it was hard to find. I guess I'm surprised you never ran across them when they're your record hunting youth.
I had like Beware 12-inch, which I remember a lot of people at college always wanted to come over and listen to, like punk guys, because that was already rare.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only one that I've came across in nature, that just popped up somewhere.
So you're saying you don't have an original Velvet Underground pressing?
No.
Okay. Would you accept a gift?
Sure.
I've got an extra.
Oh, nice.
And if you are open to it, I'll make sure it gets into your hands.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Thanks.
I don't know if it's full banana. I think it may be no banana, no peel. Is that all right?
Sure, I can get a fake sticker somewhere.
Yeah. I just tape a real banana to it.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Actually, you guys are coming out to Australia fairly soon. With Witch, is that right? Opening for The Damned, I understand.
Yeah, that should be awesome.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah. I wanted to see the original lineup, but I missed that.
Oh, in the UK. Yeah, that would have been great. Did you ever see Minor Threat back in the day?
Yeah, I saw them 3 times, twice in Boston and once in New York. Minor Threat.
Jay, I really do appreciate you spending time with us here on the show, walking us through your record collection and your hobby there, which we all share. I do want to draw people's attention to the latest Heavy Blanket album, Moon Is, available on vinyl, outerbatteryrecords.com or heavyblanket.bandcamp.com. And grab some other stuff while you're there too. They've got some great shows of bands like Off and Faith, and they've got the latest Elder album there. Pretty much anything Outer Battery makes is well worth giving it a listen. And of course, Jay, follow him at jmascis.com. There's always a project or a tour that he's on, and if he's in your neighborhood, make sure you grab some tickets and see the man. All right, Jay, thanks for coming on the Vinyl Guide.
All right.
Cheers.
Bye.
Oh man, what an honor. What an absolute honor. Jay Mascis here on the Vinyl Guide. The new album, Moon Is by Heavy Blanket, is awesome. Again, outerbatteryrecords.com. And don't forget, there is an extended version of this interview, including some colorful tales of Jay's time with G.G. Allen, only available to show patrons at patreon.com/vinylguide. That's it for this episode of the Vinyl Guide. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please share these episodes on your social media. Put them on Facebook, tweet them out on Twitter, put them in the Reddit forums or Facebook groups. Show your record nerd buddies how to get the Vinyl Guide podcast on the smartphone of theirs. That is always appreciated. And we'll be back shortly with a brand new episode. So until we talk next time, get out there and buy some records, people. Cheers.
That's it for this episode of The Vinyl Guide. Send your thoughts to Nate at thevinylguide.com or follow or tag us on Instagram at Vinyl Guide. Until next time, keep spinning.